China's economy just took another big hit. Most Americans say they want a president who's tough on China, and China blacklists Canada in a tit-for-tat battle. That and more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell, and this episode is sponsored by Surfshark. Whenever you go online, you should be using a VPN like Surfshark to cover your tracks and protect your identity. I'll tell you more at the end. China is facing an economic catastrophe. But first, China's population may be collapsing faster. According to government statistics, China's fertility rate reached a record low of 1.09 children per female last year. Just to put that in context, the United States fertility rate is estimated at around 1.66, and India's at 2 last year. The Chinese government says its fertility rate is now the lowest of any country with over 100 million people. And wouldn't it be nice if TikTok downloads also started declining? Unfortunately, that seems unlikely till there's a complete ban at the federal level. But speaking of bans, New York City has joined a list of governments that have banned it on government devices. It gave city employees 30 days to delete the Chinese app, saying it posed a security threat to the city's technical networks. Over 30 states have some sort of TikTok ban now. New York State quietly banned it with a policy change several years ago. But there's also a bill in the legislature to make that policy change law. Speaking of bans, China is lifting some bans it put in place during COVID on group travel to other countries. It's already lifted travel on countries like Russia, Thailand, and Cuba. But one country that's still on the blacklist is Canada. China claims that's because Canada has been hyping up China's foreign interference in Canada's election. Look, not wanting to go to Canada is its own justification. But Canada's foreign ministry did admit last week that Canadian MP Michael Chong was a target of the disinformation campaign. It claimed it's highly probable that the campaign was orchestrated by China, but that it couldn't be proven beyond doubt. Chong has family in Hong Kong and has sponsored motions critical of China, like calling its treatment of the Uyghurs genocide. Canada has also expelled a Chinese diplomat it accused of targeting Chong and his family. And after the break, Americans want more tariffs on China. Welcome back. According to a new Reuters poll, a majority of Americans want more tariffs and more military prep to counter China. 66% said they were more likely to back a candidate for president who supports additional tariffs on Chinese imports. And another 66% agreed that the U.S. needs to do more to prepare for military threats from China. However, when it comes to sending U.S. troops to Taiwan, only 38% said they were in favor of that. China's healthcare system is bracing for a sweeping anti-corruption campaign. The year-long campaign will target everything from insurance fraud to illegal sales activity by drug and medical device makers and doctors taking bribes. Already, the government said it nabbed almost 30 hospital chiefs, party secretaries, and health officials since late July. Is this really about corruption? Could be. Could this be equal parts of political purge? It sure could. And after the break, China's economy is crumbling. Big time. Welcome back. You know, sometimes communist problems call for communist solutions, and China has some great communist solutions. You may have heard that China is facing something of a youth unemployment crisis right now. Government data shows that over 21% of 16 to 24-year-olds were unemployed in June. But there are some massive problems with that data, like the fact that it only counts people in urban areas. That's why some think the real unemployment rate is much higher than that, like over twice as high. But whatever the real percentage is, China is embarrassed because it shows how bad China's economy is right now. So what does China do? Why, it just stops reporting the numbers. The National Bureau of Statistics claims this is because they require further enhancement and optimization. And by enhancement, they mean they want to massage the numbers so they don't look as bad. Speaking of bad economic news, China's property sector is continuing to crash and burn. China's $138 billion shadow bank defaulted on payments on some of its investment products this week. Zhongrong International Trust Co. has no immediate plan to make clients whole, indicating its troubles are deeper than previously known. This has triggered fear among Chinese investors and concern from regulators that contagion could make the fallout even worse. Zhongrong was heavily invested in real estate, which has taken a hit ever since property developer Evergrande defaulted on its payments in late 2021. Speaking of property developers defaulting, another one could soon bite the dust. Country Garden, which was the largest private property developer by sales, is in danger of a default rivaling Evergrande. It left investors in the dark after dollar bondholders said they've yet to receive coupon payments effectively due Monday. Country Garden had $199 billion in liabilities at the end of last year. For comparison, Evergrande had $283 billion in liabilities as of June 2021. Country Garden has a 30-day grace period to make its payment before it's officially in default. If it does default, this is really bad news for China, which has been desperately trying to attract foreign investment to prop up the struggling economy. Now, one of China's biggest foreign investment cheerleaders, BlackRock, could potentially lose millions of dollars if Country Garden defaults. In a recent filing, it said it had $358.5 million in Country Garden dollar bonds, which is bad news for BlackRock and its investors, but on the bright side, maybe they'll stop propping up a genocidal regime that wants to take over the world. Somehow I doubt it, though. It's not their money they're investing. And this episode is sponsored by Surfshark. When you go online, everything you do is being tracked and logged by the websites you visit and your internet service provider, and in many cases, by your government. That's why no matter where you live or what you do online, you should always be keeping your internet activity private with a VPN. And now, Surfshark has servers you can connect to in over 100 countries. That's more than any other VPN. So that makes your connection faster and more reliable. Plus, Surfshark has top-of-the-line encryption and a no-logs policy, meaning they don't collect your browsing data. In fact, Surfshark was rated Editor's Choice for the best VPN for privacy and security by PC Mag. So check out Surfshark. With just one Surfshark account, you can connect as many devices as you want. Try it out now. Surfshark has a special deal that includes 83% off a 2-year plan plus 3 extra months for free. You can protect yourself for just $221 a month. So go to surfshark.com/uncensored and use the code UNCENSORED to secure this deal. The link is in the description below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.